Good morning. It is Thursday, May the 26th, and we are well into this year, and it's going by so quick. I just want to go over something that I touched on Sunday. I posted a question. It was two questions, but they're really just the same question asked in different ways. I asked, what do you do when you are waiting for God to do something, but nothing is happening? What do you do when you are waiting for God to move, but He doesn't seem to be in action? Now, after I wrote those questions, the Lord brought three accounts from the scriptures to my mind. I'm going to go ahead and reference them. I'm not going to read all the scriptures on them. I'm just going to give you a rundown, and you can go and read them for yourself. The first scripture is found in 1 Kings chapter 17, verses 8 through 15. Now, before I tell you about these scriptures, I'm going to just let you know that this scripture is about a commandment that God had given the prophet Elijah, the prophet that I speak of many times. He had sent him eastward to the brook of Cherith to drink from the brook. And he said, as you drink from the brook of Cherith, the ravens will come and feed you. He went to the brook of Cherith. The ravens fed him flesh and bread. And they did this 2 times, and then the brook suddenly dried up. So the Lord told the prophet Elijah, he said, go to Zarephath, and there is going to be a widow there who will sustain you. So the prophet Elijah is very obedient. He goes to the widow. Now, when he goes to the widow, he asks the widow, he says, get me a little bit of water in a vessel. So she goes to get a little bit of water in the vessel for the prophet to drink. And while she's going to get him the water in the vessel to quench his thirst, he says, can you get me a little bit of bread in your hand? Now, the widow, she doesn't have much. She's obedient. She recognizes this is a prophet of God. And so she is met with an issue because she doesn't have much. So the widow, she says to the prophet Elijah, as the Lord thy God liveth, I have not a cake, but an handful of meal in a barrel, and a little oil in a cruse. And behold, I am gathering 2 sticks, that I may go and dress it for me and my son, that we may eat it and die. Keep that in mind. We're going to go to the next scripture. That scripture is found in John 5, verses 2 through 8. This scriptural account is about a place called in Bethesda, and it's a place where a pool is, and the pool is very significant because an angel comes in a certain season and he troubles the pool, and whoever gets in the pool first is healed or made whole. So whatever they're going through, it is instantly fixed, but they have to be the first one to get into the pool. So there's a man there. He's impotent, and it's not a sexual impotence, it's a full body impotence. And to be impotent, it means that you are powerless, you're weak, your body just doesn't work the way it should work. So here's this man, he's had this condition for 38 years, and he is met by Jesus, and Jesus says, will you be made whole? Now, the man answers him, the impotent man answers him with an excuse, and he says, I don't have any friends. I don't have anyone to put me in the pool. Before I can find someone to put me into the pool, someone else gets in there and they're made whole. So I've just been here. So he's got this excuse. So the impotent man, he follows the command of Jesus, and he is made whole. Okay, keep that in mind. He had an excuse. So now we're going to go to the last chapter. That is found in Matthew chapter 9, and the verses are 18 through 22. This is about a woman with an issue of blood. Now, in these verses, Jesus is on his way to heal the daughter of a worshiper who had come to him and said, "My daughter is dead." Now, it was a ruler, not just any worshiper, but this man was high up. He was a ruler, and his daughter had died. He believed in Jesus. So Jesus and the crew were on the way to the man, and they were going to get to the daughter and heal her. But they are met by a woman who had been dealing with an issue of blood for 12 years. So she's on her menstrual cycle, and for a woman to be on the menstrual cycle, that was seen as being unclean. They can't be touched. And not only was she seen like as diseased by others and not touchable, but when you are losing a lot of blood physiologically and biologically, your body is being drained. There's no iron, there's no ferritin. Ferritin is the storage area for the excess iron in the blood that your body lives off of. That's the reserves. So when that's drained, you have headaches, you will have ringing in the ears, you will have all type of issues in your body, and you will be weak. So this woman was dealing with this issue for so long, and nobody wanted to touch her. She was seen as disease. She was no doubt feeling terrible and weak. But she said, if I can just touch the hem of Jesus's garment, I'm going to be made whole. So she thought that within herself, and she reached for him and touched his garment. And guess what? She was made whole because Jesus recognized her faith, and he said, by your faith, you are made whole. So I thought of those three scriptures and those accounts, and I said, you know what? I got the answer for this. See, the first woman, the widow, she was ready to die. The second man, the impotent man, he had an excuse. But the third one, the woman with the issue of blood, she had faith. And that was the key. Her faith helped her to get that resolution that she was looking for. Now, they all got the resolution, but the most resilient thing was the woman who made her way, pressed her way to Jesus and was made whole. So I said, you know what? You can't just try and say, I'm going to die and give up on life. You can't make excuses. You just have to make your way and press. And I said, yes, that's the answer. Let me tell you something. God showed me something else today, and I was like, wow, I wouldn't have seen it that way. And I see why he had me to wait to deliver this message. So this is what happened. I took my son to school today. I dropped my last child off to school, and I was on my way trying to make it home to meet this meeting that I had in minutes. So I'm trekking my way up the street in my little SUV, and as I'm going, the Lord ran those three scriptures through my mind and in my spirit, and he showed me something. He said in all those accounts, it's not that the woman was just ready to die. It's not that the man was just making excuses. It's not just that the woman had so much faith. What was a common denominator in all of those situations is I came through. He came through in each of those situations. He sent the prophet Elijah to the woman who was preparing to die. He sent Jesus through with the impotent man who made excuses and was sitting there and remaining in his condition. He sent Jesus through in the path of the woman with the issue of blood. So that is what the common denominator was. The common denominator and the solution was the Lord coming through. So it doesn't matter if you are on your last and you feel like you're going to die, like the widow and her son and Zarephath. It doesn't matter if you don't have any friends, what excuses you have formed in your mind, like the impotent man in Bethesda. It doesn't matter if you have been for so long, and it feels like no one wants to be around you because you have this great disease and issue. And even if you're weak, there is still hope. But what you need, what they all needed, was the Lord to come through. And let me tell you, you can't always depend on friends. It didn't matter if the man at Bethesda didn't have any friends, because sometimes friends, they don't understand how to help you. It doesn't matter that the woman did not have anyone from the village to help her. I don't know if she was a church woman, and sometimes even your pastor cannot help you. They may love you, they may care about their flock, but they're not going to always come to your house and tend to your every need and supply what you need. It doesn't matter that no one wanted to touch this woman with the issue of blood, because there may not have even been a physician that was able to fix her condition. What these people all needed, and what you need, is the Lord to come through. So when you're going through, when you don't know what to do, you need to ask the Lord to come through. You need to say, God, I don't know what to do. My mind is thinking this. This is what my situation is, but I just need you to come through. And let me tell you, sometimes you can fix in your mind what you will do and how you will solve a problem, and that is not going to work, because what you don't want to do is end up in a situation like Abraham and Sarah, when Sarah gave up her handmaid to have a baby with her husband and trying to force the promised child by herself in her own plans, and that was not working. As we see in the scriptures, that brought a lot of turmoil, tears, and resentment in everybody. So what happened in that situation? From her desperation and her quickness to do something, she ended up with a mess. But when she was blessed is when the Lord came through and touched her womb. So in the scriptures, you will see, not only in these 4 accounts that I've spoken of, all throughout the Bible, you will see the only time something did turn out the way God wanted to is when God came through. So when you're going through, when you're waiting on God and things don't seem to be happening or unfolding the way you think they should, and you don't have a solution, you just need God to come through. I hope you hear what I said. I hope you feel what I'm saying, and that you apply that to your life, and whatever you're going through, that you incorporate God in it, and that you have the patience and the faith to wait and to trust on God, because when you call on Him, He will come through. He is a solution, and He will make it all right. Continue to have a great Thursday and a great week, and have a productive and faith-filled life, and watch God move on your behalf if you trust on Him and wait on Him. God bless.